to Inspired Leaders. Thank you guys all so much for joining us here today. It is such an honor to be able to spend time together with each and every one of you, so thank you for being here. We have been doing Inspired Leaders for almost 7 years, which is insane that it's been going on for that long. And when we started, it all happened around the time that Andy and I started our business. I came from education, and I quit that job, that safe corporate job, to come and be a business owner. Anybody else leave that safe job to start their own business or get into sales? It's terrifying, right? It is so scary, and it's also so liberating and so fulfilling, and it's, got its ups and downs just like everything else in life. But I was really scared to make that jump. I was super convicted to do it, but I was really scared to do it. And so I spent a lot of time networking, and I was meeting with anybody that would sit down with me and asking question after question about, how did you do this? How did you get started? What have you been through? What have you learned? Should I do this? Should I quit, right? And once I made that jump, those questions never stopped, right? Because life always has its ups and downs, and we're always navigating new things. It's just part of what we experience as humans. And so I've continued to surround myself with people that will answer those questions for me, that will tell me about their stories. And so when we started Inspired Leaders, it really was kind of more tactical, right? I had no idea what I was doing in business, so I was like, great, let's get people to come talk to us about doing marketing and all these different elements of business. But then that really morphed on its own, truly, to people coming up here and sharing their stories, sharing what they've been through, sharing what they've navigated, sharing those ups and downs. Some of those stories are personal, some of them are business, some of them are both. But then that is what Inspired Leaders became, is people coming and sharing their stories, and but sharing their shit. They don't just stand up here and rah-rah and tell you about how successful they are. They tell you about the hard times. They tell you about the things that they've been through. They tell you about the challenges that they've navigated, how they've gotten through, and how they continue to get through challenges, because it's always going to be present in our lives. And so our hope is that when you come here to Inspired Leaders, you know that you are not alone. You know that you are in a room of business owners and entrepreneurs and salespeople who are passionate about our community, who are passionate about each other, and who are passionate about being supportive to everybody around them. And that is the beauty of this community that we live in. So when you come to Inspired Leaders and hear these stories, we hope that you can then reflect on them when you are feeling low, when you are feeling scared, when you are wanting to quit. And we hope that these stories help encourage you so that when you have a bad day and you're ready to throw in the towel, you keep going just one more day. I was told once to never quit on a bad day, and I'm really, really glad that I listened to that advice, because I would not be standing here today talking to you. I'd be working at HEB, because there's no way I would go back to education. However, I would not be doing this anymore, and my life would not be as fulfilled. So I'm really, really grateful for all of you, and I'm grateful that you're here and that you're brave and bold and willing to stand strong for the people around you. So thank you very much. So if you can, for the next hour, silence your phone. If you need to take a phone call or anything like that, you are welcome to go in the lobby. We do understand. But if you can take this time for you, please do that and enjoy. So you can find us all over social media. If you scan that QR code, you will find our website where you can see past speakers. You can see photos from past events. You can apply to be a speaker yourself, or somebody that you know. You can nominate them to speak. Also, if you're interested in sponsoring this amazing event, we could not do this without our sponsors. They are why this event is free and open to everybody. And if you are interested in getting involved in that, we would love to have you. You can also follow us all over social media. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you do online social stuff, we are there. And so you can see clips from past speakers or photos from past months, or just engage with the events or share it with other people. So please follow us and follow along with what we're doing and share it with your community. So as I mentioned, we are almost 7 years old. Next month, we are celebrating our 7th anniversary. Yes, big round of applause. We're so excited. So if you know me, you know that I like to make a big deal out of birthdays, and it's almost a weakness, and it's really annoying to most people around me, but I like to make a big deal out of Inspired Leaders' birthday as well. So we are going to make it a big hoorah next month. So you'll see a little extra, balloons and dessert and other things like that. And then also we're going to honor all of our past speakers. So we ask our past speakers to come back so that we can do a special recognition of them and just really celebrate what we've been doing. So if you are interested in being a one-time sponsor for our anniversary celebration, we are looking for those so that we can do extra food, extra, decor, all of the things that we like to do to celebrate, and you'll get the same benefits that all of our other sponsors have and be able to come up on stage and do a 30-second commercial instead of the drop and go commercials. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to myself or Andy or anybody with these leadership tags and just let them know that you'd like to do that, and we would love to have you. But please mark your calendars and come join us next month on May 9th and help us celebrate 7 years. So I would be remiss to be in a room full of business owners and not give you all an opportunity to do a quick commercial. It's really important to us that you guys are able to connect here and to meet new people and grow your relationships. And so we do that by letting you do quick commercials before our speaker talks. But here at Inspired Leaders, we do commercials quickly. So it is a drop and go, and then after you do commercials, we do one clap. Okay, so if you're a sponsor, just skip yourself. You're going to get to come up on stage and do your commercial. But everybody else, we're going to do a quick drop and go, and Andy and Lance are going to help us pass the microphone around. So I'm going to give you an example of what a drop and go commercial is so that you can be thinking about how you want to do that and what you want to say to get your message across quickly, and then we'll move forward. All right, you ready? My name is Elizabeth Griever. My company is Everson Cooper, and we are your as-is homebuyer. All right, let's do that again. Come on, y'all. My name is Elizabeth Griever. My company is Everson Cooper, and we are your as-is home buyer. Booyah, you got it. All right, so I'm going to pass the mic around. Y'all be ready. And if Lance or Andy does this to you, just know that they love you and you're beautiful, but please move on. Okay, great. Here you go. Thank you.
Good morning, Carl Stephen Brunig, Wealthy Life 360, your financial GPS for a great future.
Nikki Hankins, No Dumb Blonde Accounting. Come see my baby possums about this weekend.
Hi, Di with Juice Plus, fruits and veggies in capsules.
Hi, Melody McKenzie with Wagner Insurance. We specialize in commercial insurance. We also do CE classes coming up soon for realtors and can help answer any questions you have about your businesses.
Good morning. I'm Nola Bailey with LB Leisure Travel. So I am an independent travel advisor. So if you want to take a cruise or a destination wedding, all-inclusive, a vacation, that's what I do.
Bobby, I build and train sales teams.
Good morning. My name is Olivia Vallejo. I'm with Countryside Massage and Skincare Center. Let the healing begin.
I'm Debbie Shaps, and I work for Legay Law Firm, and we are your consulting firm for broker-dealer registration and compliance.
Gail, the connector Stolzenberg, helping business owners make better connections.
Hi, I'm Monica Elizabeth with Brilliance Coaching and Consulting. I do executive, corporate, and personal coaching.
Good morning, Natalie Sikowski-Gertz with Business and Banking Concierge. I'm your operational CFO for all things business, banking, lending, merchant, and insurance.
Hi, I'm Walker Alexander, and I make websites. If you have a fresh startup or a side project and you need a digital face, come talk to me. I'll get you a free small website.
Hi, I'm Prince David, and I'm a life coach and leadership coach, but I also rescue kids, 2,000 kids every day from the cities of Mumbai, Calcutta, and Chennai in India.
Nell Sagehorn, and I'm with Clean Water Climb. We're now having a trip to China, so if you'd like to hike, come see me.
I'm Deborah Dozier with Sagebird Properties. We are your fully furnished temporary housing in the Woodlands and where memories are made.
Hi there, Joanne Johnson, aka JJ Sells the Woodlands, and I specialize in residential real estate.
Hi, I'm Rachel Steffens with First Priority Title, where we do residential and commercial title insurance, and we want to make you our first priority.
Hi, Tina Stackhouse, Realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty, selling and buying in the Woodlands and surrounding areas.
Mary Wagers, Wagers Health Insurance Services. Ask me about Medicare. I'm your specialist.
Hi, Tara Brown with Redfin. I'm with the Da Vinci team. We're the one-stop shop for your home buying needs. We specialize in home renovations.
My name is Holly Glatzel. I have a marketing background and a real estate license, and I'm looking for like a transaction coordinator position.
Hi guys, I'm Pamela Ornelas. I'm with TMB and I specialize in life insurance and retirements.
Hello, my name is David Reyes. I'm with PHP Agency. We help as well with retirement plans, annuities, debt settlement, and we help build agencies as well.
Philip Spampanato, founder of Lumi Solutions, providing technology services for all the things that keep you up at night.
Howdy, I'm John Bulovis. I'm a recent graduate of Texas A&M with biomedical engineering degree. Now I'm trying to find work. If you need anything else.
Hello everyone, my name is Caleb Westbrooks and I'm here looking for any future opportunities in any job field.
Great day, my name is Lydia Besa. I'm a realtor with Buy Realty in helping buyers, making their dream come true, helping them with a lot of education, and I'm bilingual. If someone needs me to translate one day, I'm here.
Hi, I'm Selena Alvarez with CapTel Caption Telephone. We provide amplified telephones to individuals of all ages at no cost.
Hey y'all, I'm Shannon with Freedom Caregivers and Companions. We provide in-home care to seniors and those who need us most.
Hillary Bailey, Freedom Caregivers and Companions, and we take care of seniors in their homes.
I'm Heather Elise. I'm with Melaleuca, your one-stop shop for your wellness needs.
Hello, I am Jana Key with Bhakti Light. I'm a quantum igniter. I awaken one to the divine remembrance of who you are beyond the bullshit stories.
Frank Fuss Life Coaching. I take my clients from Eeyore to Thor, from good to great, and from frustration to celebration.
Hi everybody, Sherry Deal from Kroger, and I happen to know that the Easter Bunny will be hiding these eggs instead of fresh eggs this year, so we got them. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Diana Berwin, and I'm just here for inspiration today.
Hi, I'm Deidre Kiesling, founder of the Dream Academy and creator of the Success Code Workshop, where you learn 3 keys to master your results.
Hey y'all, I'm Will McPhee with Watan Landscaping, and I handle commercial landscape contracts.
Hello everybody, I am Joey. I own Alley Pest Control here in the Woodlands, and if you've got mosquitoes, we'll get them all with just a call.
Hey there, I'm Zeke, the Mortgage Geek, handle residential, commercial, and small business lending. Great mortgage experience, what you seek, call your mortgage guy, Zeke.
Hey, I'm Larry Nail. I have a career in private equity, but my real passion is my children in Northeast Uganda. We have a children's home, and we rescued 50 children, many of which were near death, so that's my passion.
Kevin Goodnight. I'm an author and speaker, and my mission is called Dad Voted, to develop devoted dads. But the best thing I do is I coach men to find freedom from sobriety and alcohol.
C.D. Womack with Team Womack Realty, another realtor, and my wife and I are a real estate team.
Alan Cunningham, the Home Inspections Company.
Good afternoon. My name is Ed Wren, and I am with Aflac. When you get sick, hurt, or injured and can't go to work, who pays you?
Hello, everyone. I'm Brenda James, Lead, Don't Follow, Leadership Coaching and Network in Action, NIA North.
Hello, my name is Syed Zafar. I help people understand other cultures. Check out my book on Amazon, Crossing Cultures with Grace and Humor.
If you know me, you know the drill. Do it loud. I'm Steve Shoemaker with Redemption Roofing, the home of. Amen.
I'm Corinne Cambio. I'm with Congressman Dan Crenshaw's office, and if you need help with a federal agency from the IRS to VA to Social Security, call our office. We can help you.
Kevin Williams. I have a ministry for homeless people. I sell them houses. So I'm the realtor in the fedora at your service.
Hi, this is Amara Shah. I am a children fiction author, and I'm a student at New York Film Academy and a social media influencer. Thank you.
Okay. So I have 3 business cards. Which one should I read first? Since I'm the last, you can say I'm holding up the line. All right. Miss Sarah Heather. I am here representing Legacy Partners. We are your insurance and tax-free retirement solutions. Ask me about living benefits. I am also representing Indus Arts Council. We have an event coming up next weekend called Rung Film Festival. If anybody's interested in watching some amazing films, talk to me. Thank you.
Cute, babe. Okay, thank you guys so much for sharing your businesses with us. If you're a sponsor, please come join me up on this stage so that you can do your 30-second commercial. You guys, seriously, we would not be able to do this amazing event without our sponsors. They are why we are in this beautiful location, why we have the best food in the county, why we have the most wonderful video and photography, and all the AV that happens here, and all of the social media, everything that goes on behind the scenes for Inspired Leaders is because of these amazing people. So we're going to give them an opportunity to do their commercial, and y'all have a timer, so pay attention. There you
go. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel Wolfson. The slide is bright. I work for a bank called Austin Bank. We're a family-owned community bank right here in the Woodlands in Creekside Park. And we've been around for 120.
But I am also the executive director for Hands of Justice, and I'm going to invite you all out to our crawfish boil competition tomorrow. Go to our website for more information. Dawn Candy, Hands of Justice, and I promote you.
Hey guys, Julie Peters, and I'm with Arbonne. I also like celebrations. This is my 20th year with Arbonne. So we are a health and wellness products company. One of the key products that we have is Energy Fizz. We have a new flavor out for limited time only, raspberry, and I've got several mocktail and cocktail recipes that you can make with those. So if you're kind of missing out on a beverage, this is a great way, low sugar, all of that kind of stuff. Julie Peters, keeping you healthy from the inside out.
Hi, I'm Mike Navolio with the Clean Water Climb, and make sure your life is not only successful but significant. How is it significant? By impacting the lives of others. You can do so by joining a Clean Water Climb. So cross Kilimanjaro off your bucket list while you're bringing buckets of water to people in Malawi. But we've also added other climbs. We have Everest Base Camp, we have Patagonia, we have Machu Picchu, we have now China. So come see Nell or myself afterwards if you want to climb the Great Wall of China, among other things. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I'm Melanie Davis with Better Bookkeepers. We're your local bookkeeping firm. So if you think QuickBooks Online, Xero, all the accounting software, think of us. I know that tax deadline is dooming right around the corner. So if you decided to file an extension because you're too overwhelmed, it's a good time to give us a call. We can help get you all caught up so you can breathe and rest, and we can give you your time back. Thank you.
Happy April, Inspired Leaders. Great to see everybody. My name is Lance Kelly. I'm with the Business Solutions Group. We're your one-stop for all of your individual and small group healthcare insurance needs, medical, dental, accident, disability, whatever the business needs to protect its greatest asset, its people, we're going to have a solution for you. Lots coming out of Washington. We're struggling to keep all the businesses compliant, make sure we stay ahead of and on top of everything. Lance with the Business Solutions Group. If you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your sickness. Plan accordingly.
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, and happy Easter. My name is Nick Plunk with Plunk Productions. I'm a videographer, producer, editor, so if you need any of those three things, if you have your own footage already and you're like, I don't want to sit through and edit all this junk, send it to me. Or you might say, I know how to edit, and I can post stuff, I just don't have a nice camera to get it with. I can give you that footage. Or if you say, I don't know what I want, I can't film it, and I can't edit it, I would love to work with you as well. My name's Nick Plunk, Plunk Productions.
Hello, everyone. We need more energy. It's bright outside, sun's out, feels good. Hello, everyone. That's more like it. I'm the photographer here. I did a joke a few months ago, and it stuck. If you guys like the pictures, I took them. If not, he's holding the camera. Thank you, guys.
So let's give our sponsors a huge round of applause. And also, if you could give Giovanni a special hug today. Today is his last day with us. We are so sad. I am crying all up on the inside. So please give Giovanni your love. He is absolutely amazing. We love him so much, and we're really grateful for his service to Inspired Leaders this last year. So give him all your love today. If you or anybody that you know is a photographer and would like to take his spot here at Inspired Leaders and do the photography every month, we would love to talk to you and see if that would be a fit. So thank you so much, Giovanni. We love you, and we're grateful for you. Also, quick shout out. It was Julie Peters' birthday yesterday. She likes celebrations. So please make a big deal out of it for her and give her lots of hugs also. So you have lots of hugs to give today, okay? That's your only homework. I'm still a teacher inside somewhere. Those are your 2 homework assignments. All right, so I am really excited to introduce our speaker to you today. I actually knew of Nelda back in my teaching days. She was very involved with Conroe ISD, and I always admired her grace and her persistence and her passion for what she does for our community. And it is such an unbelievable honor that she is here standing on our stage to speak to you and share her story. So please help me welcome Nelda Blair.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I love that. I want to take that home and play it every morning when I get up. That's wonderful. Hey, I want to talk to y'all today about not the supernatural, but supernatural, okay? That's two very interesting words. So let's start out with, who thinks that the words supernatural apply to them? Okay, good. We've got a few. Good. All right, well, let's talk about that, because I'm going to tell you that everyone in this room, everyone has supernatural powers. So when I first started giving this talk, my preacher, my Baptist preacher, called me and he said, Nelda, I hear that you're talking about the supernatural. I said, no, Dr. Webb, I'm talking about super and natural. And we had to have a meeting for me to explain that, but I got out okay. So we're talking about 2 words, super, superior, superb, above average, natural, innate, genuine, God-given, super and natural. And there are abilities within every one of us to be an inspired leader, to be an inspiring leader, to do things good for yourself, good for others, and can even do good things for the rest of the world. So I've got notes because I got to know when to click. That's the main thing. So in order to talk to you about supernatural powers, I'm going to have to kind of open my own world. And I've been encouraged by some folks around here to talk about stories about myself. That is not my modus normally. So it's going to be a little different than what I usually do, but I am going to open my world. We're going to call them Nelda's Life Lessons. And I will warn you every time I'm about to tell you one. Here's the first one. All right, this is Nelda, 1st grade. It was that early that I learned what my strengths were. I knew I was a take charge girl. I knew that I could could basically stand up and talk to anyone, anytime, never met a microphone I didn't like, and I had no fear. To this day, I am not afraid of anything. Well, I'm afraid of my mother, and she's gone now, and I'm still afraid of her. But that's the only thing. And she was only about this tall, by the way. But those attributes were something that just became very obvious to me on an early age. So this was 3rd grade. I'm already rocking the red hat and skirt. That hasn't changed. But by 3rd grade, those attributes had given me the distinction of being the only girl in the entire elementary school who 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade had been paddled by the principal. Yeah, these were the days of paddling. And we didn't paddle little girls very much, but this little girl got paddled a lot. And I have to say, the 3rd grade one, there's just, Miss Vaughn left the room. And my classmates got a little unruly. Someone had to stand up and get the class in order. I volunteered. But as soon as Miss Vaughn walked back in, down to the principal's office it was. I've never understood that. So there are countless ways to use your supernatural powers. Countless. And you have to find your own after you figure out what they are. We're going to talk about 3 of them today. 3 that I happen to like. Optimism, positivity, the glass half full kind of concept, inspiration, and we're going to talk about doing that through motivation and encouragement. And then, seriously, I'll explain that one when we get to it. Okay? All right. Firstly is optimism. Optimism is a truly an extraordinary, inborn thing that everyone actually has a source of it. But finding it is so important because it is the one trait that really fuels everything else. So it goes by a lot of names: beliefs, your dreams, your hope, positivity, everything that you can think of that might make you more of a happy, expectant, positive person. Because if you're not positive to begin with, you're never going to lead others to be positive as well and to do great things, no matter what their things are. So, Nelda's life lesson. My source of optimism is my faith. I am a committed Christian. I have been for the vast majority of my life. Everything that I do is based on my faith in God, and every goal that I achieve is because I have used God, asked God, prayed to God, and believed in God to help me. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. That psalm is recited by me every morning, sometimes even before I open my eyes, simply because it gives me a motivation. It gives me a positive attitude. Now, I'm only human, folks. So there are days that I say, I will rejoice. Everybody has those days. But just saying the words, for me, is my source of optimism. So, 2 things. 1, you need to find your own source, your own supernatural source of positivity. And 2, things happen, guys. A lot of things happen in life. And you can't allow those things to steal your optimism. So, Nelda's life lessons, 2 of them. This is a young law student. And when I say young, you can tell she hasn't even grown cheekbones yet. I got into law school a little bit early in the 70s. There were no girls in law at that time, and certainly no girls at the law school. Baylor University had 5 women in that first class, and they were, some were there to catch husbands. I was there to be a lawyer. But early on, I had that first year when we were what we call 1Ls, I had a professor call me to his office, ostensibly to talk about a paper I had written, which was brilliant. And he said to me, you know, we don't really have very many women in the law school for a reason, and that's because you don't belong here. And he then proceeded to say, I have watched you in the first few weeks of law school. You will never make a lawyer. You just don't have what it takes. Maybe a paralegal, but definitely not a lawyer. Well, that was a real kind of emotional time for me and a time of change in my life. That summer after 1L, I had intended to go home. I was going home to get married to my practice husband. And y'all know what that is. And also, I was going to move back to Conroe, where I was raised, and transfer law schools, which was also a very difficult thing to do at the time. So I had a lot of challenges. Having a professor who was extremely smart, he was admired, he was a big man in the law school, tell me that I would never make a lawyer was a huge blow to me, because I had a lot of confidence. And I had wanted to be a lawyer for a long time. There were a number of people that thought I should be a lawyer. Shoot, I argued really well. But having that professor tell me that I was not lawyer material put a huge doubt in my mind. And so I went home that summer, married, began to talk about transferring my law school, and I just had doubt. Could I really have what it takes to be a lawyer? He said I didn't. And it forced me to doubt myself so badly, I actually laid out for a semester. Almost gave up on that. But again, my faith in God, my ability to really analyze myself and to not let that man steal my optimism, my positive attitude, overcame it. And I did go back to law school and finished law school in 2 years. Thank you. So, the other Nelda's life lesson is after I became a lawyer, brand new, in the courtroom for one of the first times. And this happens a lot, even now, in other ways. But that girl went to court. My opposing counsel, the courtroom was packed that day, by the way. It was a bunch of hearings, and my opposing counsel was a young man my age. The judge says, young man, happy to see new lawyers in my courtroom. Young lady, you don't belong here. Well, I'd heard that before. But he proceeds to say, you need to go home and make babies. The courtroom fell silent. I was mortified. I mean, I'm only like 25 years old. Afraid, humiliated, and of course, I wanted to cry. I did later in the bathroom, but not there in front of the judge. But you know what? What I did not do, I did not go home and make babies. I was a lawyer by then. I knew I could be a good lawyer. And I was not going to let someone like that steal my optimism. It hurt and it stuck with me, as you can tell. It's very, very real to me today. But I moved on. And that's what you have to do. You have to not let others spoil your purpose, set you off your goals with, and steal your optimism with what they do. Stand firm and stay positive. Next item, inspiration. This is our second way of using our supernatural powers. So inspiration is, there's really two ways to help inspire people. They're through motivation and encouragement. And they're real similar, but motivation is pulling from in front, pulling people over the finish line, pulling them towards an award or a goal. And whereas, actually, it's a lot like the carrot and the stick. Y'all know if you're like riding a mule, which I know all of y'all do probably once a day, and you have a stick, you can pop that mule on the butt and he won't go any faster, no matter how much you do that. But if you tie a carrot to the front of that stick and stick it in front of him, he will run towards that carrot all day long. And it's the same with people. It's just a motivation. The carrot is whatever motivates that person. Encouragement, on the other hand, is more like pushing from behind, cheerleading, really encouraging people to where they reach their own goals, or maybe goals they didn't know that they even had. It's support for someone. So the first one is motivation. This is I have a Nelda's life lesson about motivation and one about encouragement. The motivation one is this. So my first 20 years of my law practice, I had young women that came to my law firm and interned over the summer. They were almost always teenagers that were daughters of my friends. My goal was to enlighten young women that there was a whole lot more in this world that they could do. In fact, anything they wanted to do. And my thought was being exposed to a law office would give them an idea that they could be a professional of any sort. So, I mean, they took out the trash and ran errands. They didn't get to go to court or try cases. They just were exposed. So I had one summer by the name of Angela. She was 16, a friend's daughter. She's been there for a couple of weeks. She comes to my door and says, "Miss Nell, I'd like to talk to you." And I'm like, "I'm really busy, Angela. What you need, honey?" And she said, "I just want you to know, I know I've only been here 2 weeks, but I've made a decision." I'm like, "Okay, what's your decision?" I want to be a lawyer." I'm good at this. I'm really good at this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe 16 years old, 2 weeks, and boom, I've made another lady lawyer. That's great. I said, "Angela, wow, honey, I think you'll make an amazing lawyer. What made you decide that so quick?" And she said, "Well, I want to drive a red sports car just like you." Not what I was hoping to hear. This is not good. You can't be motivated by a red sports car. You got to be motivated by the law. You got to be motivated that you want to have your own office and run your own business and help people and try cases, not a car. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is no good. But the life lesson was on me. Because when someone's motivated, you don't get to decide if it's the right motivation. If it motivates them, that's the goal. That's the whole point. So whatever it takes to motivate somebody is okay. And how did I learn that? Angela became a lawyer. Not only that, she became general counsel for a large oil company and a very good lawyer. And I took full credit. Oh, and she drives a BMW, by the way. All right, life lesson on encouragement. So my life, as it turns out, over pretty much everything I've ever done, I've been the only woman in the room. I spend a lot of time with men. I mean, it's just the involvements that I have that's good scout. That's me and a bunch of other scouts, guys. And so, as a result, my mentors and my allies are almost all male. I have a couple of women that I've connected with, but the fact that everybody around me was men meant that those were my people. Now, carefully picked, carefully chosen, as you can imagine, because not always do the opposite sex connect for the right reason. So my mentors are people that really, really had my best interest at heart. But the Nelda's life lesson story about that is I had a mentor in Harris County who was an elected official, and he called me one day and said, "Nelda, listen, they're screening for this new TV show in Houston for a judge, and I think you'd be great." Well, folks, I was in choir when I was in high school. I've never been an actress, I've never been a drama queen, and I've never been a judge. So I told him, I said, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I'm not going to do that. He said, yeah, you're going to do this. I really want you to do this. He's pushing me from behind. He signs me up, and they actually call me that day and say, "Come on down here, you're on the roster for 1 o'clock." So I go try out for the judge show. I was horrible. I don't know how to do any of that. I was terrible. I didn't get chosen. It was Judge Larry, if anybody ever saw that show. Larry made a great judge. So about 2 weeks later, this was Fox National that was doing this from Hollywood. I get a phone call from Fox National in Hollywood. The lady said, "I'm a producer. I saw your tapes on the judge tryouts." I said, "Yeah." She said, you weren't very good." I said, "No, I know that. saw it myself. She said, but we understand that you're a litigator. I said, I am. She said, well, we need a litigator for another show. And we need somebody with a Texas accent. I said, well, I got one of those too. And so, for the next 2 years, I spent once a month going to Hollywood and taping shows for a show called Power of Attorney that Fox had on nationwide. I'll tell you how it happened. I'll give you a little idea.
I want you to finish up, Ms. Blair.
I will, but I have to understand this. You lied to her about her belongings being stolen, correct?
Only momentarily.
You lied to her about her mother taking some of her belongings, correct?
I never said ever her mother ever came and took anything.
And her mother doesn't have anything, does she?
No, because her mother said, I will come and get it.
Where is it, best friend?
Some of the clothing is at Goodwill.
With best friends like you, no one needs an ex-husband.
Now,
I got to try cases against Marcia Clark and who was the O.J. Simpson prosecutor. I got to try against Gloria Allred, Jeff Feiger, who represents Kevorkian. Andrew Napolitano was our judge. It was a courtroom that was truly, a cardboard courtroom, but it felt like a real one, so I was completely at ease. So then that show ran for 2 years. And then the national news organizations picked me up and used me as, because I'm a former prosecutor, they used me as a talking head, basically, your opinion about what
we were talking
cases.
plea bargains earlier. Let's go ahead and stay on that topic. But with Martha Stewart, do you expect a plea bargain in this situation, and do you think she should take it?
I don't think so. I think Martha Stewart, because of her reputation, because of her business, because of her aura out there in the world, I don't think she can afford to take a plea bargain. A plea bargain means she has to plead guilty to something.
We're comparing it in our introduction to the insanity defense and the Twinkie defense.
Right. Well, that's the whole point, is try to influence the jury into thinking that there's a possibility that someone else out there committed this murder. It doesn't really matter who, just that someone else besides Scott Peterson may have committed that murder. That he was indicted by a grand jury. Michael Jackson is incensed that he was indicted, and he's most likely parted with his lawyers, whether it was their decision or his, and we don't know that. But he's parted with them because he's out of control of this case. He's scared, likely he should be, and it's going nowhere. He fires his attorneys, or his attorneys leave a few days before his arraignment. It is not good to change horses in the middle of this stream.
Folks, those years were the most fun of my entire 40-year legal career. I can't tell you what a great opportunity it was for me. And I never, ever would have envisioned myself doing something like that. It took that mentor pushing me, encouraging me, making me do things that I didn't even want to do that led to that. And that is what encouraging people is all about. So remember, when you are inspiring, when you are an inspired or inspiring leader, it's about motivating and encouraging. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. All right. Seriously. Seriously? Don't take yourself so seriously. And that's probably the best advice I could give. And on top of that, don't take others so seriously either, that they knock you off your game. So, things happen in this world. The world is an unusual place. In the 70s and 80s, when I was a young lawyer and a law student, it was, you heard some of the stories. It was rough. But a lot of those same things happen now. A lot of the same type of things happen to people. So put that in your own life and think about it from your own point of view. Social media, oh my gosh, talk about debilitating. I mean, there's just some meanness out there sometimes. Do not take it so seriously that you allow it to deter you from your purpose. Always listen to your inner, super, and natural self. Use those abilities. All right, Nelda's life lesson. This is when I was the first chairman of the Woodlands Township. We were taking a bunch of homeowners associations and turning them into a government that had never been done before. A government that was so unique, it's still the only one like it in the state of Texas and the United States. We had to convince people to vote taxes on themselves. We had to take 100,000 person community and turn it into a true government. It was hard. I spent a lot of time working on that. I spent a lot of time explaining what we were trying to do. By the way, this was an elected, unpaid position. A lot of time telling people what we were doing to try to pull everybody over this 3 years of a transition. I spent time bringing people I signed the first Ironman contract because we knew we had to get people here so that the sales tax would go up because that would mean the property tax would go down. And I spent a lot of time working with a board, my board, that didn't know any more what they were doing than I did. Because this was a unique thing. It was a unique type of entity. And so we spent just a huge amount of time in meetings and just trying to make sure we were doing this the right way. So the whole time that I was out there promoting the Woodlands Township and trying to form this new government, I had 5 stalkers. One of them actually was sending messages to me telling me where I was. I saw you at lunch with Joe today. Why are you talking to him? You're going to this event tonight, and I think you ought to be very careful about what time you go. Why are you doing your grocery shopping on Saturday? That's a terrible time to grocery shop. And we never found out who this person was. There were anonymous messages. The law enforcement tried very hard too. It was unnerving, but I couldn't take this guy so seriously. I mean, you have to some extent, because then another one was a deranged real mental case who decided that God had told him that the township board needed to die and the chairman was first. That would be me. That guy they found, and he ended up in a mental institution. A third guy, and as I said, there were 5 total, but a third guy sent me a voicemail, several voicemails, that said he was ex-military, he knew how to plant bombs, and one was at my house to kill my family. And the other, he was going to plant under that red sports car that you saw because he knew exactly what I drove. That gentleman was arrested for terroristic threat. How do you not let someone like those people knock you off your game? How do you not take them so seriously? Well, you enlist help. That's what you do. You bring in law enforcement. Law enforcement was wonderful. I had to bring in private security during the last guy with the guy that wanted to plant the bombs because I had to have someone with me wherever we went. We didn't know what he was going to do next. But in the meantime, as I have mental health professionals and law enforcement professionals and security, and then everybody trying to make sure that we're catching these people so that we can, get rid of them, I still had this job to do. And I still had a law firm to run as well, by the way. But not letting those people cause me to take myself too seriously or take them so seriously. They could be dealt with. We dealt with them because we had jobs to do and a role and a goal to make the Woodlands what it would be. We had to establish this government because that's what was going to be the foundation for the rest of the time that the Woodlands is in existence. It was that important. So the point being, when you give your own abilities over, when you say, I'm taking you so seriously that I'm going to alter my course, I'm going to deter my goals, you're giving over the power. Never give over the power. Always keep it and enlist anyone that you need to help you when you need help. One last Nelda's life lesson, and this one's a good ending, and not quite so seriously. But it is not taking people seriously. So this is in my late 20s. I'm a young lawyer. I'm now somewhat established. I'm working for a man named Reuben Hope. Reuben Hope was a very, very great man in this community. He was very respected, older lawyer, and he was one of my fabulous mentors. He ran for state representative later, and I actually ran his campaign for him, and he won. But I loved Reuben, and he sent me to try a case. I was a young litigator. He said, go to this Podunk County in East Texas, which shall remain unnamed, and try this case for me today. So I go to Podunk County, and when I get there, there are 3 grown men lawyers on the other side representing 3 different people and me on this side. And there's a judge who's older than dirt and has never in his life seen a lady in the courtroom, I guarantee you. A lady lawyer, no way. So I go in, I have my suit, I got my bow tie, I got my briefcase, I look the part, but I'm a girl. He bangs his gavel and starts the case and says, Mr. Smith, so good to see you today. Usually you send one of your minions, but today you've actually graced my courtroom with yourself, and I am so pleased you're here. What a wonderful lawyer you are. Mr. Jones, what a wonderful dinner at your home last night. Mrs. Jones is such a wonderful cook, but I shouldn't be getting too personal here in the courtroom. Let me just say that I count you as a fantastic friend, and I'm glad you're in my court today. Mr. Harrison, you are such a community leader. I can't believe you are in my courtroom with that big law firm you've got. I never thought I'd ever see you here. And by the way, what you've done with the school board is just amazing. Thank you for being here. He leans over the bench, pulls his glasses down over his nose, and looks at me and says, You must be Reuben's girl. Well, I was a lawyer by now. I'd already made myself, pretty confident. But I could have filed a Judicial Conduct Commission complaint. I could have filed an EEOC. I could have left the courtroom and said, you are not going to talk to me that way, and I'm not going to stand here until you apologize. That's not what I did. This is what I did. I took a great big breath and said, Yes, Your Honor, I'm Reuben's girl. And then I proceeded in my brilliant legal way to trounce Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Harrison and totally win the case that day. That is not letting those people that you take so seriously alter your goals. So, life lessons for today are optimism, glass half full, positivity, find your own supernatural source of that. Seek it, find it. Inspiration, whether it's pushing someone by encouraging them or pulling them by motivating or using a carrot. Inspire people. And by the way, as you become better and better leaders, always look for ways to be inspired yourself, because you can always improve. And seriously, don't ever take them so seriously or yourself so seriously that they knock you off your game and you hand over the power. Now, who thinks they have supernatural powers? All right. Great. Thank you. All yours.
Nelda, thank you so much for sharing your supernatural powers with us. We are so honored and so humbled by you. Thank you for sharing your story. I have an inkling that she was talking about Andy and I, who were asking her to get deeper into her personal stories to share with you all today. And we are honored and blessed, and thank you so much for doing that and for being here and for continuing to serve this beautiful community. So thank you. All right, y'all, mark your calendars. Join us next month on May 9th for our 7th anniversary celebration. It is going to be amazing. You can scan that QR code and go ahead and click yes. If you scanned the link tree earlier, we also have a calendar that you can subscribe to so that it's just always populating on your calendar. But please come and join us and bring a friend. It is going to be amazing. And I am just beside myself with excitement and really just honored that my amazing husband is going to stand up and share his story with you. So please come and support him and love on him and just celebrate Inspired Leaders for 7 years and come and enjoy this beautiful community. So thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys all next month.